Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world, and welcome to a very warm, sunny UK. Talking today about Cardiff University. It's specifically about applying for their January 2027 programs and perhaps beyond if you are interested. I'm joined today by a bunch of students from Cardiff University, and they will be sharing their insights into what makes it such a great place to study, perhaps live there, how easy they found the integration as an international student to come to Cardiff, to come to Wales, a different country, perhaps a massive unknown for them, and to just find out more information and how they settled in. Before I do hand you over to the colleagues there at Cardiff, just a reminder that today's session is live. It is the 6th of July 2026. So if you do watch on demand and you're watching in, let's say, September, October, November time, there might be a few things that are date sensitive, so please factor that in. And if you do wish to have a certificate of attendance today, you need to email webinars@postgradsolutions.com along with any other questions that you might have if you are watching on demand or you're watching live and you don't get round to it or you're not available to ask questions. We do have a Q&A box and we do have a Q&A section at the very end of the presentation. So please pop your questions in the Q&A box. If it is in the chat facility, we may not be able to get round to answering those questions, which would be a great shame considering that you would have sat waiting the whole session to get your answers to your questions. So please use the Q&A facility as much as possible. But for now, I'd like to hand you over to Sean Keeping. She'll be taking you through the next 30 to 45 minutes. I'll be back for the Q&A. I'm in the background if anything goes wrong. Sean, over to you.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Gareth. And hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody that's watching. Yeah, looking forward to talking you through our January start information today. My name's Sean Keepin, and I am a regional manager based in the international office at Cardiff University. I'm going to sort of talk you through, firstly, starting with a little introduction, and then we'll go into more specific details about the programs that will be available in January. So for anybody that's unfamiliar, Cardiff is a traditional university, part of the Russell Group of institutions, also one of the largest universities in the UK. So we have over 350 different undergraduate and postgraduate programs, and we have two main intakes, the largest being in September, but we also have a selected number of postgraduate courses that are open in the January. And on screen now you can see a snapshot in numbers of the university. So it's sort of picking out certain elements, but in a kind of fun numerical way. And as you can see, one of the biggest numbers there is that our QS World Ranking. So we're currently 179th. But we're also, really well ranked in a number of other areas as well. So, for example, our student union is the third best student union in the UK, and we'll talk about that, later on in the presentation. But we're also the third most affordable city in the UK as well. So that's taken into factors such as accommodation costs and living and subsistence costs. We have an amazing reputation in employability, and as you can see there, we're 12th in the UK for graduate employability. And part of that is because of our partnerships with professional bodies. And as you can see, 52 different professional bodies, from things like General Medical Council, the Law Society, or the Royal Institute of British Architects. And that really helps to support our graduate employment prospects for our students. And in addition to that, we have 140 different nations represented in our student body. And that translates also into a huge and vibrant alumni community. And of course, we know that rankings are important to you. They're important to us as an institution as well. And as you'll see over the last few years, we've been making really positive moves in our ranking position, and we are, committed to improving that position. But beyond just the subject rankings, it's really important that you delve into those rankings, because we may feature higher in different rankings, and it may be that we're featuring higher in rankings that are important to you. So you'll see there on the screen the areas in which we're in the world top 50. So that's for architecture, business administration, communications, just as a few examples. But we're also in the UK top 10, again, in a very wide and broad range of different subjects. So we have a fantastic range of facilities, and those facilities may be at subject or at school level. So some of the sort of examples I like to give, we have a lightning laboratory that's in our School of Engineering, where our researchers and our students test the impact of lightning on carbon wings, a lightning strike on a carbon aircraft wing, for example. In our School of Physics, we have a lab that creates diamonds. I believe that's for use in some kind of semiconductor compounds. Or again, as you can tell, I'm not from the School of Physics, but we also have incredible simulation suites in our School of Healthcare, School of Medicine, a trading room in the School of Business, and many other sort of subject-specific facilities. But we also have some broader facilities that are available for all students, and they will be things like our incredible libraries, a number of which are open for 24 hours a day, access to different IT facilities, obviously Wi-Fi throughout the campus. And also, sports facilities, accommodation, so a broad range of facilities that you'd expect from a university such as Cardiff. We have two campuses. So we have our main campus, which is the Cathays Park campus, which is home to most of our subjects and most of our students. But we also have a dedicated healthcare related campus, which is our Heath Park campus, and that's where our teaching hospital sits. And we will be talking a little bit more about some of our healthcare programs, and we can ask questions to our student panel about their experiences of different campuses. And there's just an aerial shot of both. So the Cathays campus, that's closest to the city centre, in walking distance to the city centre. And as you can see from all of the greenery, it's a really beautiful campus as well. But we also have the Heath Park, which is where the teaching hospital is. That is still walking distance, depending on what your idea of walking distance is. But it's also very well connected by buses, really quick sort of 10-minute bus journey into the city centre. So now I'm just going to focus on some of our January courses more specifically. Firstly, we have 4 courses that are currently open for applications, which means that you can go online and you can submit an application now for January. And we also have some applications for another range of courses, which will be opening soon. So firstly, I'm going to sort of concentrate on the programs that are currently open for applications. So we have 2 programs within our School of Cardiff Business School, which is an AACSB and Amber accredited business school, making it one of the top 5% of business schools in the world. Our first program that's open is the MSc Business Management course. Now, this is what we would call a conversion program. It means that you can come from any background. So you can come from engineering or computer science or law or humanities or even business itself. And it will give you all of the core, the foundation core knowledge in different areas of business and management. For example, marketing, finance, logistics, economics, and HR. And it's allowing you to apply that knowledge into very practically focused modules and projects, so that you can really feel that you're having a very sort of hands-on, translatable experience which you can take out with you once you complete your program. And assessments will be done through a variety of different means in order to test those different skills that you and the knowledge that we've taught you, in things like coursework, case studies, and in applied projects. And as you can see there, we have a range of professional networks that you will have access to. And also you will be taught by the best. And as you can see, our global ranking there for our business masters is in the top 100, currently the 88th. And we also have another business program or business related program that's open for January intake, and that is the MSc Marketing course. Again, similar to the business management program, it is what we would call a conversion course, which means that you don't have to have a background in marketing or in business in order to apply for the program. But yeah, so we can take from a range of different disciplines, and this will then be giving you, those skills within which to go into the fields of marketing. And similar to the business management program, we take a very practical approach to our teaching. So instead of just being sitting in a classroom and taking notes from a lecturer, we will be asking you to apply that knowledge into different settings, through, we say, like case studies, and applied projects. And again, you can gain, as I mentioned, often with the case studies and with projects, they may be delivered in collaboration with industry partners. So it may be that you're working on a live brief, a problem that's been set by one of our partner organisations. And again, similar to we have a very high QS ranking for our business masters programs. For the MSc marketing, currently ranked within the 71 and 80 bracket. The program also comes with accreditation, so that's the professional standard for marketing students, and that will be the CIM accreditation in the UK. So just a brief overview of the entry requirements on that course. It would be the equivalent of a 2-2 degree, a 2-2 or a UK second class honours degree. Now we will have the equivalent requirement within your country. So you can find this information out on our website, but also equally you can get in touch with us if you'd like to know how your degree in your country equates to a 2-2. In terms of the English language, and you can meet our English language in a variety of different ways. IELTS is one of the certificates that's very well known, and we're looking for a 6.5 with a 5.5 in each band, but it may be that you meet the requirements based on a previously attained qualification, but we also accept a range of other tests such as the TOEFL or PT Pearson's, and various others. That information again is on our website. Also, just a final note, this goes across all of our January starts. Places are limited on our program, so very much recommend that you apply early as well in order to support you in terms of applying for your visa. And so we've got a set of deadlines there for the MSc in Business Management and for the MSc in Marketing. And the start date will be 18th of January. And just make a note of these because the start dates are slightly different across the different programs I'll be talking to you about. The last date for your application is the 4th of December, but that is very much the last date. And again, early application is recommended. Which means that you have to pay a deposit by the 11th of December, and the last class will be issued on the 18th of December. I should say that all of our courses will have a deposit requirement, which is £2,500 deposit, and that will be then deducted from the fees that you owe on your course. So the next set of programs I'm going to be talking to you about are our healthcare related courses. And so we have the first of those is our MSc Physiotherapy program. Now this is actually an 18-month program. I should mention that the previous two were 12-month courses. For physiotherapy, it's an 18 months. The first year is focusing on the taught modules, and in the second year, or the second 6 months of that 18-month course, you will be completing a dissertation. I should also mention that any fees that are advertised on the website for the MSc Physiotherapy program cover the full 18 months. So there's not a fee that's payable in the year one and then again in year two. So it covers the full 18 months. You have some core modules within the physiotherapy, but one of the areas why we're so popular for the MSc Physiotherapy, as well as our very good reputation in that area, is that we have a really exciting range of optional modules, particularly and I will get this wrong, the musculoskeletal diagnosis and treatment, and also the cardiorespiratory care module. I understand is quite unusual. And that's one of the reasons why that program is so popular. In addition to that, we have excellent employer eligibility rate from the MSc physiotherapy program. And part of the reasons for that is the sort of support that they give students to apply for the HCPC registration whilst they're here. So we will give training and advice on how to do that. And they also have a drop-in physiotherapy clinic where students can again keep up to date with their technical knowledge and to enable them to use their skills on the general public. Again, entry requirements on this program are this isn't a conversion course, that you will need to have a physiotherapy degree from your home country. It doesn't have to be recognised here in the UK, but it does have to be a BSc or a Bachelor of Physiotherapy. And again, we can give a guidance and advice on how to apply for the HCPC registration whilst you're here. One key element to the application is the personal statement, which isn't required on the other programs that I've mentioned already so far in the presentation, but it is a requirement of the physiotherapy. So please make sure that you answer the specific questions that are on screen now, but also on our course, the Finder page, which is on our website. We also have the MSc Occupational Therapy. Similar to physiotherapy, is also an 18th month program, 12 months tour, and the final 6 months are of dissertation. Again, you'll sit for some core modules, which are up on the screen there, but you also have a range of optional modules that you can choose from. And another reason, again, why our occupational therapy program is so popular, again, it's our really excellent reputation in that area, and also, fantastic opportunities there. You will be being taught in our teaching hospital, and there's possibilities there for us to help you to identify opportunities for gaining experience whilst you're here. Okay. Similarly to the physiotherapy course, you will need to have a related degree in your home country before you apply for the MSc Occupational Therapy course. IELTS requirement 6.5 with 5.5 in each band. And as the physiotherapy course, you really do need to concentrate on the personal statement and make sure you are addressing the questions that are on the screen there. As you may have seen, there are some slightly different start dates here, so please make note of them. The start for these two courses is actually the 25th of January, so slightly later. But the deadline, I think, for the application remains the same as the 4th of December. Deposit deadline is the 11th of December, and the final CAS issuance is the 18th of December. Okay, I'm just going to whiz through the remaining courses available for January, and then we'll have an opportunity to speak with our students that are also on the webinar today. So these are also open for January, but the applications are not quite yet available online, but they will be very shortly. And I'm going to start with the MSc Data Science course, and I believe we have someone on the call today that is studying this currently, so we will be speaking to her later. So this is the MSc Data Science and Analytics. It's a joint program delivered between School of Maths and School of Computer Science. It's a one-year program. And this course was initially set up in collaboration with we have the Office for National Statistics, which is a mouthful, but that's the UK government's data handling unit, which is based just outside of Cardiff, and they were having serious difficulties in recruiting skilled data science and analytics graduates. So this is where this program was actually developed through that need. So it is a very applied program. And you will be being taught, in terms of applying theory to real data sets through practical projects and collaborative work. The assessments, again, will be varied, but it may be possible for you to do an industry-linked project at the end of your master's program, again, depending on what it is that you're hoping to do that project on. It may be possible for us to set that up as an industry-based project, but it does vary. We also have an MSc Business Analytics course. Now, this is combining business strategy with advanced analytics, machine learning, big data, helping you to turn sort of that complex data into strategic business decisions. So it's very much more of a applied analytics based on a business needs. Again, assessments will be through a variety of different means such as coursework, projects, simulations, again helping you to sort of develop that ability, the applied skills as well as the knowledge. And I'll be talking about, I should say, on those two. Actually, if I'm just going to go back, oh, no, I'm not going to go back. Sorry, just going to quickly go back. For the data science and analytics course, you will have to have a background in computer science or maths or a subject with quantitative element to it, some quantitative modules involved in that. For the business analytics program, you will need to have some mathematical element to your degree program. So it doesn't have to be, a wholly sort of maths-based degree, but you will have to have some element of more of an advanced maths in order to study that program. And now this is a really exciting opportunity to join us in January for 3 of our newer programs. And what these programs are master's courses that are looking at the application of AI. So these aren't necessarily coding courses, and in some of them you will, certainly for the MSc AI and management, you don't need to have any kind of coding background to it, but it's sort of exploring the transformative possibilities of AI in particular fields. So it's a really exciting program. So beyond just the study of AI, this is the application of AI, either with the use of data science or MSc AI and management, or the MSc AI and statistical analysis. So I would take a look at those programs. Again, the entry requirements will vary depending on the course that you are hoping to apply for. For the MSc AI and management, there is no sort of requirement to have any coding or a maths-based background. But of course, for the data science and statistical analysis, you will have to have more of that kind of quantitative background. But yeah, it's a new and exciting programs. So I'm going to just pause there. And I wonder if I could bring in and say hello to some of our student panel at this stage. So I think if I start with I'd like to talk about the student union. So Cardiff is very famous for its student union, which, as I've mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, currently ranked top 3 in the UK, and it's consistently in that top 3 since the time I've worked at Cardiff, which is over 10 years now, and that's for a variety of different reasons. But I just wonder if any of the students on the panel today have any particular experience of the SU, whether I don't know whether they've worked there, or whether they've had to receive any advice from there or anything that they'd like to speak about. No?
Hello, I don't mind speaking quickly.
Oh, hi.
So I'm Caitlin for everyone on the webinar, and I'm a PhD student. With the SU, there is so much that happens in there, and there's loads of different places to find out information. And there's also lots of food places, so it's a hub that is in the middle of the uni and you can access most of the time. And obviously they do events. As a PhD student, I use it mostly for information or like trying to engage with different working activities. But for other students, I know that there is that social side as well that people can access that maybe some of the other students can build on there.
Again, part of the student union, we have a wide range of different societies, and I just want, is anybody on the call, any of the students a member of the society, they'd like to share their experience?
Yeah, hi. So, Student Union has lots of different societies, whether if you are interested in sports, dancing, and languages, or even volunteering for cultural activities. I have been into one of the societies, which is like Bollywood Dance Society, because I
Oh,
like dancing. So we have different types of dancing societies as well in university. So I would highly recommend each one of you to join at least one of the societies, so that you get to know other people as well, and you get to know different backgrounds. So yeah.
thank you. Thanks. Is Shivalika? Did I say that
Yeah,
correctly? Okay.
Shivalika.
Shivalika, sorry. Shivalika.
Yeah.
What about sports? Anybody here keen sports person, or if no, I can just carry on.
I really didn't join any club, but I had gone to a few Give It a Go. So Give It a Go
Okay,
are these sessions that they have where you can go check out the society, how it works. You can it's like an event in itself. So I had gone for the badminton one and the paddle ball one, and they were really fun. So, but
brilliant.
then managing the whole managing my time around the classes and assignments, so then I wasn't able to join it, but it was actually quite fun.
Brilliant. Yeah, yeah, I know. It is hard, isn't it? I think particularly at postgraduate level to try to balance your studies as well as the sort of, the student experience side. It's good that you were able to take part in the Give It a Go, because that is something that the student union is very keen to promote, that you don't have to be competition level, or to take part in a sport. They very much encourage you to try something that you've never tried before. So when you arrive in January, you can join up for any number of different sports clubs, or the societies as well that were on the previous slide, and you can just try it before maybe deciding on one or two that you would particularly keen to get involved in. I think the highlight for the sports club student calendar is our annual Welsh varsity, and every spring Cardiff University and Swansea University go head to head. So it will be just a few months after you join in January, and it's one of the biggest student sporting events in the UK. And so across the varsity, I think it's just one day. 30 different sports clubs compete between Cardiff and Swansea, things like football, hockey, netball, rowing, all sorts of different sports. And that culminates in the women's and men's rugby, because rugby is the Welsh national sport. Both of those are actually held in the main Principality Stadium in Cardiff City Centre, and that is something that you'll be able to witness when you're here, and it's lots and lots of fun. Even if you don't play sport, it's more fun in many ways to support your team. So yeah, lots of fun to be had during that time. And then just a sort of quick, just a second slide there on sports, just to sort of say that the facilities here, if you are a keen sports person, really are fantastic. So we've got a training village with indoor and outdoor facilities, fitness suite, conditioning room, dance studios, sports fields, you name it. There's something that you can participate in. Um, just to sort of give you an overview as well, because everybody sort of joining in January will be a postgraduate student. We are very keen to recognise that postgraduate students will have slightly different needs to our undergraduate students. Maybe you might be returning to education, you might be changing your career. And so, it's really important that you have the facilities and the support to enable you to thrive when you return back to university. So we have the postgraduate study spaces, we have a postgraduate network which organises different social networking events for you, and we even have halls of residences that are designed just for postgraduate students, so that you can, maybe a slightly quieter space with more mature students, that will help to, again, to support you during your studies. Obviously, as a postgraduate student, something that will be really important for you is our Student Futures team. So Student Futures is basically our careers advisory service. But careers support and development really is embedded throughout the student experience. So as I've mentioned already, elements of that will be through the curriculum, and through the way that we develop the curriculum in line with the different professional bodies and accrediting bodies. But also you will have opportunities to apply the knowledge that you're given in the live case studies or projects that you do as part of your study. But supporting all of that is a really dedicated careers service, and they will help you to access. You can have one-to-one counselling from a careers advisor, and you can book that any number of times. You're not restricted to only a certain number of times. They can help you to identify your career goals. They can help you to identify careers, organizations that you should be applying to. They can support you in your developing your CV, gaining some work experience and different insights, as well as helping to support onward employment after graduation. And we have across the year, I think over 100 different employer events that might be wide scale fairs, or it might be more one-to-one bespokes of networking events with different employers. One thing that is really important as part of your journey is that you access that support really as soon as you arrive in the UK. And at that point, I'm going to just maybe again call on our student panel to see, is there anybody that's accessed the careers in or the Student Futures Service would like to talk about it?
Yeah, I have went into career advisors, and I have been into webinars for CV improving, that I really feel is very helpful, because you get to know a lot of things, like how to improve your CV, how to add keywords to like be presentable, because CV is the only thing which can make employers select you at the first place. And on addition to that, we have a lot of career fairs as well. We have career fairs, and I have been into career fairs, and I think attended all of the career fairs. And it's very nice to talk to people who are actually working in our industry, so that like what are the current requirements, so that you can work on it and get yourself hired.
Yeah, that's great. And I guess also with things like the CV, it can vary, can't it? Like a CV that a UK employer may be expecting to see could be very different to an
Yeah,
employer
yeah,
in your home country. So it's good to
yeah.
get that advice, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Thanks. Also, I should mention as well that we have a job shop that's based in the student union, and you can register for free. And the job shop can help to identify part-time work that you can undertake whilst you're studying. And I guess everyone on this call here is a student ambassador, so you've obviously seen adverts on our through the job shop. But has anybody got anything they could talk about part-time work possibly?
Yeah, so the job shop portal in itself is really amazing. It's helped me a long way, and registering on that is also pretty easy. Apart from that, so visa restrictions are like 20 hours. So as long as you manage the week, the 20-hour week, it should be okay. And it doesn't then you can work 2 jobs or 3 jobs if you land them, but you just have to manage your part-time, the 20-hour week limit. That's the most important thing I find so far. And that's the main thing that I've been trying to juggle in the past few weeks, especially. Apart from that, job shop has been great, but then if you are not able to work through that, then you also have options like Indeed, where you can apply for other retail stores or barista, depending on what you prefer working in. And that's also been a pretty humbling experience, because you need to work up your CV accordingly, so that you can get a job in part time as well. So, yeah.
Thanks, Priya. That was great. Thank you. Brilliant. Okay. So I'm just gonna move on then. Talking of job shops and part-time work, and also thanks to Priyal for mentioning about the 20-hour a week, part-time work restrictions. But again, yeah, thinking about money and living expenses. as I said at the beginning as well, Cardiff is consistently ranked as one of the most affordable student cities in the UK, and that's sort of linked to things like accommodation and general sort of socialising and living costs. So you know it is something that it very much is an attractive element of the city itself. Obviously, managing money can be quite difficult. So I'm afraid I'm going to throw it open to our student panel again. Has anybody got any tips or advice on money management and any kind of hacks or tricks about finding things cheaper?
I think students have a brilliant hack that they have a student discount in every most of the cafes and shops. And we have an app called Uni Days, wherein you can, have a student discount on almost every brand. So you can use that until you're a student, so that you save on a lot of money. And along with that, I would recommend that apply as soon as you finalize your course and your university, so that you are pretty like ahead of the time. Because I applied back in India for residence life, and before coming to UK, I had one of the jobs I had to work in. So I would recommend everybody to make your CV and apply to as many as things you can.
Okay, that's really helpful advice. So are you a residence life assistant then?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So do you want to just stick with really briefly what that is and what that, yeah.
Yeah, residence life assistant is like we live in a university accommodation with other students, and we manage students like about, and we create like we make different events to students so that they feel comfortable in the university. And we have different kind of events like pot painting, stone painting. Yeah, it's basically student recommendations. We have large events also. We have small coffee lounges, and every day we do it so that students can come sit and chat with their fellow friends and make new friends, so that they feel comfortable in the society and in the new space they moved in.
That's lovely. Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Thanks for that. Wonderful. Okay. Yeah, so just moving on, sort of thinking about life after Cardiff, and I did mention it when talking about the student futures, but as well as the sort of employer events and the different recruitment fairs that we have on campus, they also have a platform where they advertise different graduate opportunities as well. And you can sort of see there on the screen some of the companies where our graduates have gone on to work in. I think one of the elements that is really supportive, like and appealing for Cardiff students, is that we have a really vibrant alumni network. So we have a global alumni community of of sort of graduates that have gone on and into great careers across across all different countries. And you can access some of that support through the alumni network, again depending on what it is that you're looking to do and where you are based, as to sort of how active the alumni chapters are in that area. um, but in addition to sort of professional support and advice that they can provide, the university, really does invest in the alumni network as well. And actually, this July, hosting the first of their big reunion weekends, where they're bringing alumni from all across the world back onto campus to sort of reconnect with old friends and maybe revisit some of their party nights in the student union, but also, amazing way to kind of keep connected with those networks. So as a Cardiff student, you'll be able to join that alumni chapter when you leave, and remain part of the Cardiff family, really. So just going to move on now, thinking more about the kind of life in Cardiff itself, the city and the country. So Cardiff is the capital of Wales, and Wales makes up one of the four nations of the UK. So that would be Wales, England, Scotland, Northern Ireland. But I should also say that the UK itself is very, very small, so it doesn't really take you very far to get from one side to the other. So some interesting things that may make Wales slightly different to the rest of the UK. We are a land of castles. So Cardiff, oh, not Cardiff itself, but Wales, the region that the Cardiff is the capital of, has around 600 different castles. We have 3 within the Cardiff area. We have Cardiff Castle, which is literally on the outskirts of our campus, and it's an easy walking distance. But we also have Castelcoch and Caerphilly Castle. But you won't go very far anywhere in the whole of Wales without bumping into a castle, if you so wish. We have one of the oldest living languages in Wales. So Wales is officially bilingual, and Welsh and English have equal legal footing. So you may hear some Welsh while you're in Wales, and I'm going to embarrass myself by trying to speak some now, but one thing you will often hear is the word croeso, and croeso means welcome, and welcome in Welsh is, or croeso, is a really important part of the Welsh culture. We are very welcoming, very known for our warm welcome, which makes us, a really wonderful place to visit and to study in because of that welcome that you will experience. Another thing that you'll notice as soon as you arrive is that we love dragons, red dragons. But as you can see there on our flag, the Welsh dragon is part of the Welsh flag, and you'll be able to see images of that dragon everywhere within our architecture or our signage. You'll never go too far away from it, but that forms part again of our sort of history and our myth, our tradition of myths and storytelling in Wales. We have some beautiful scenery. We've got 3 national parks, including Brecon Beacons, which is around 50 minutes from Cardiff city centre, and we actually have a collaboration with the Brecon Beacons National Park there, and our bioscience students and our astronomy students spend quite a bit of time up there exploring and looking at the stars, gazing at the stars. And you can't, the food, we have some traditional food in Wales. The most traditional being the Welsh cake. So you, again, will not go far without trying Welsh cake. I'm just going to call out to our panel again whether anybody's got an experience of trying to speak Welsh or.
Hello.
Not exactly. Oh,
No,
Go on,
you go. I'll go after. I was just going to say I'm only from England, but there are loads of opportunities in the uni to learn some Welsh, and you just pick it up because all the signs are in Welsh, and like as you go, you will learn it and get a bit more comfortable with it if that's something you want to do. There will be opportunities to learn it. And yeah, that's what you can get in the uni, but Cardiff itself is a great city to live, and it's really accessible to all the other places that you've mentioned. You've got great transport links to go out for the day and visit the different castles and visit the national parks and the beaches that are all within about an hour also of Cardiff. So there's lots of opportunities here to do that.
Thanks, Caitlin. Thank you. Anyone else just want to give their experience maybe of Wales and anything that may link more specifically to Wales and UK? If not, it's okay.
I was more or less going to talk on the lines that Caitlin already mentioned. So everything, like there is English and Welsh written on all the signs over here. So you definitely pick up some of the most commonly used words if you travel by bus. So I am based in Heath Park campus. So you pick up, what do they say? The next stop is, what is the bus stop called? And Croeso is written like almost everywhere. If you go to the mall or if you enter any other place, it's like Croeso and welcome. So you definitely pick up a lot, even if you don't know how to speak Welsh. And the Cardiff also offers a course. So once you get in and you go to the Sims website, there is this option over there where if you want to learn Welsh as well. So it's been pretty inclusive and pretty interesting as well.
Thank you, Fiona. That's wonderful. Thank you. Great. So I'm going to just sort of move on more specifically to Cardiff now. And as I mentioned just before introducing Wales itself, as you can see, it's it forms part of the four nations within the UK. And as I mentioned about Croeso and welcome, we are always a very friendly city, and that has also been backed up by various different votes. And most recently, we were voted the friendliest city by in the UK by one of the Traveller magazine. So it is also a historically multicultural city based on the fact that it's a large water port. So we've always had multicultural population here. So there are multiple different languages spoken, various different places of worship, international cuisine, and there's an area called City Road where you can get, there are lots of different types of international cuisine, good prices, and very authentic, really tasty. So hopefully you'll be able to find different ingredients and foods that you're used to preparing. It's relatively small city, but what it is it's a very student city. It's a young city as a consequence of the fact of around 20% of the population are actually students, so it's very vibrant, and it's big enough and large enough for you to have that sort of adventure and to gain that independence, but small enough for you to feel part of a community and feel safe in that environment. And again, in terms of the UK, it is a very safe region, in which to live. It's very easy to get around. I think Caitlin mentioned that earlier. Really good transport links. In the most part, you may not even need transport on a day-to-day basis, depending on where you're living and which campus you're on. But you can usually walk around campus, and you can walk to the city centre, and you can walk to a lot of the facilities. But there are also really good bus routes, train links. And again, as I mentioned, the UK is very small just in general, so it won't take you very far to get from one side to the other if you have friends or in other parts of the UK that you'd like to visit. It's also a very green city. You have a beautiful beach park right the way through the centre, and so you can enjoy the picnics in the summertime when it doesn't rain. And it's very low rise, really low stress, and a very very comfortable place to live. But as well as all of the comfort and the low rise nature of the buildings that we have around here, Cardiff certainly knows how to have fun, knows how to have a party. I'll probably hand over to the students here a little bit more, but one thing, in the last 2 weeks here in Cardiff, we've had so many major live music events. We have three key over the summer, particularly the Principality Stadium, Cardiff Castle, and the Blackweir Fields, where almost every night we have a different live music event happening. We had Pitbull here over the weekend, if you're familiar. Katy Perry was here at the beginning of last week. Lewis Capaldi again, same names. I'm not sure if you'd be familiar with, but and because Cardiff is quite small and because the venues are very central, it feels like a festival or a party across the whole city when we're hosting one of these events. I do wonder if I could just call on some of my student panel there, whether they've got any experience or something, any funny stories or anything they'd like to say.
Actually, I was so excited when Pitbull came to Cardiff, and everyone was wearing balls and suits, and everyone was in such a good mood. I didn't have any tickets, but I was just checking the vibes. I was near to like field to check the vibes, and I really enjoyed it a lot. And we have a lot of students because Cardiff is a really student city. We can call that. That's why I also feel really safe also, and it was so enjoyable seeing people enjoying their time and having fun. It was really great. As you mentioned, it really gives the festival atmosphere in the whole city. So it was really lovely.
That's great, thank you. Yeah, and so you were able to enjoy it without having to get a ticket as well. You can just enjoy the atmosphere. That's wonderful. I'm really sad I missed the Pitbull event. Yeah, so I think we've sort of spoken a little bit about life at Cardiff already. So we're kind of at the end there. You've seen some of our students in the panel already. but we have the facilities to be able to chat to our students on our website. So you can scan that QR code and continue the conversation. So I'm going to leave that on screen for a little bit longer. But also very much welcome you to reach us on our contact details. Contact information again is also on screen. And I wonder whether Gareth or
Yeah,
if
Sean,
anyone. Okay.
brilliant. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you there towards the end, but thank you to all the students that have participated in that as well. It's been great to hear. It's always great to hear from the university, but naturally, you always think they're going to represent themselves in a way that will always be favourable. But to hear it from students, I think is great. If I can just elaborate, if that's okay, on some of the students, if that's okay, Sean, and what they've said so far. Caitlin, if I can come to you to begin with. I think you mentioned earlier on it's a little bit different to you, perhaps for the other students because you are from the UK already.
Yeah.
And what's kind of been your background? Obviously, what made you go to Cardiff? Was that always your end destination, or have there been kind of peaks and troughs in between?
Yeah, so I started my university journey in Swansea. So I did my undergrad in Swansea. So Cardiff was always there as somewhere that we would come up and visit, and you come to all the main events here. There's a lot more going on. Whereas Swansea is a little bit more quieter. You've got the beach and you've got stuff, but it's just not as lively. So Cardiff was always in the back of my mind. And then I'm a PhD student now, so I applied to do a PhD here. And within that, you do a master's course. So my master's was always here. So I lived in Swansea whilst doing the masters and commuted up to Cardiff. And then once I kind of learned a little bit more about Cardiff, I decided to do the move here. But Wales was just always quite a nice place. I hadn't visited it too much, but I was lucky enough to come to one of the open days. And just from that, seeing Wales and meeting the people and knowing how friendly they were, that's kind of what made me want to come here from England. And I have no plans of leaving, if I'm completely honest. I will probably
Yeah.
stay either in Swansea or Cardiff now and try to work here. But yeah, that's my journey. And obviously with varsity, which was mentioned, I always knew about Cardiff from that, and there's just strong connections and you can communicate with
Yeah.
all the unis quite nice and easily. So yeah, that's how I got to Cardiff.
Yeah, you won't be the first and you won't be the last person to say that once they've entered Wales, they become Wales.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. Just following up, Caitlin, if
Yeah,
that's
of
okay.
course.
Obviously, you're doing a PhD.
Yeah.
Can I just ask you about that and the difficulty of that? Because I always think with a PhD, it's a journey. You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs.
Of
How have you
course, yeah.
found it? And was it everything that you expected?
So if I'm being completely honest, I didn't really know what to expect with the PhD. It wasn't something that was initially on my radar. I did a course in education, and most people think, oh, you're going to be a teacher. But when I was doing my degree, I was asking a lot of questions about why do they do this in schools? Why does this happen in schools? So that's what took me down the route of research and being surrounded by great lecturers and great supervisors that then was like, oh, well, you could think about a PhD. So that's where it came from for me. I didn't know anyone with a PhD. And then I reached out to people, some other students doing it, and I learned a little bit more from those in Swansea, and I decided to apply. And the application was hard, but I was so open-minded. I was like, I'll give it a go and just see how it happens. So I entered that way, and since doing the PhD, there's so much support in Cardiff. I can't speak on other unis because obviously I'm just here. But my supervisors are great. There's lots of other students around. You've got the Doctoral Academy, which I know was mentioned on a couple other slides. They host loads of training. They've got rooms where you can book little study spaces. They hold events. There was a networking event for students last week where they had put pizza out and students got to meet up with each other, talk about well-being and make some suggestions. So there's a lot of support. The individual PhD, you kind of make it yourself, I'm in a research centre, so it might be different to some other people, and I'm in social sciences. But yeah, it is definitely a journey. In the first year, I'm sure if anyone wants to do it, it would be very confusing and you won't know your pathway. But as you progress, and I'm now entering my third year, I feel a lot more comfortable, and you've collected data and you're just working with your supervisors. And like I said, there's loads of people you can ask for support. So it's a great
Excellent.
place.
Thank you. Appreciate for that. Priya, if I can invite you on at this stage. Sean, apologies if you want to come in at any point, please do. Um, In terms of your background and your journey, Priyal, I'm guessing you'd be an international student. How did you come to choose Cardiff? And likewise, similar to Caitlin, was it everything that you expected, or was it harder than you expected?
Okay, so yeah, I am an international student. I am from India, and I have pursued my MBBS from my home country. After that, I had a very specific interest in dermatology, so I was looking at different courses for that. My top two choices was, of course, Cardiff and King's. And after talking, I have quite a few friends already over here doing different range of courses from physiotherapy to occupational therapy, and even I have some family here, so I was asking them around. I was asking around about it as to which is like the most friendly city, affordable city for a student who's coming over here from a different country, and all of them pointed towards Cardiff as the top priority. So then that's the way I applied my for my applications as well. I put in for Cardiff and then I put it in for Kings and I got into Cardiff first. And I'm like, yay! So then I withdrew my application from Kings and then I went ahead with Cardiff. And I think I came over here in the first week of September last year, and the weather was the first thing that hit me, like the cold, because I was not prepared for it. I just landed, and it was cold, and I was not even carrying my jacket. It was in my suitcase. So then I'm like, "Ooh, this is nice." And from India, which is actually very humid and hot, it was quite a different thing, and I love the cold. So of course, it has been a great transition so far. Everybody is very supportive, everybody is very helpful. If you need some support or you need some guidance on anything, I have great lecturers around me, I have a great personal tutor. So the journey has been a challenging one because of course you're moving out of your comfort zone, but I haven't had to face the level of challenges that I thought I will be doing, because the transition has been smooth thanks to all of the support.
Yeah, and Priya, what's the plan for you moving forward? Obviously, once you finish your studies, are you planning on staying in Cardiff, like Caitlin is? I think she's been swallowed up by the Welsh love, or are you planning on heading back
Yeah.
to India? What's next for you?
I am planning to stay back in the UK. I am planning to give PLAB at the same time because I will need medical registration licensing for that. But if I want to get a job in Cardiff if it is possible. But if not, then anywhere else in the UK would be fine but Cardiff is my first choice. I'm like, this city has absorbed me completely. I love the city. Apart from that, I'm also pursuing a different course in aesthetics after this, which includes the fillers, Botox, and the works. So that's my plan ahead from here.
Thank you, Priya. Sean, can I come to you just to wrap things up? I'm just conscious of time a bit. Now, there's been loads of questions come in, and I just want to kind of paraphrase a few of them, if that's okay.
Yeah, please.
I think one of the questions that came in was around funding, specifically the Chevening Scholarship Program. Now, I know the answer to this, but there'll be many students over the next couple of months that will be applying for their Chevening Scholarship.
Yeah.
Um, what would you recommend to those students that aren't successful with that? Are there funding opportunities, and what do they then need to do if they're not successful? Just communicate with you or head over to the website? How does that work?
Yeah, so obviously for the Chevening scholarships, the bit of advice really is to be aware of the deadlines because they have very strict deadlines. Yeah, if students are unsuccessful in getting the Chevening scholarship, then definitely, they can reach out to us. There is scholarship hour. We do have some scholarships available at Cardiff. We don't tend, they're not typically the sort of the type of scholarship like the Chevening scholarship, which will be full fees plus stipend. Some of our PhD might be slightly different, so there'll be maybe some funding opportunities for the PhD, which again is on our website. For master's courses, we have a range of different scholarships available. I I'm not sure yet whether the information for the January intake is on there, but we will be expecting it soon. But certainly there's information up there about what we've been offering for September, and we hope to be offering something similar for the January intake, but to be confirmed. Yeah, so there will be other scholarships available, but they may not be the same sort of extent of the.
And I think it's important to point out as well that the Chevening Scholarship gets one over 100,000 applications a year, of which they only award something like 1,500 students.
Yeah.
So it's such a popular scholarship award that students internationally go for. You won't be alone if you don't get it and you're not
Yeah.
successful. There will always be a reason why. You can always go back, find out more feedback, and please don't let that put you off. There are so many options available. A couple of questions came in, Sean, around types of programs that we're doing. You know, we heard about marketing, data science earlier. One of the most emerging topics because of the level of AI and technology that we now live in is obviously computer science and things like that, data science being one of them. There'll be many students that aren't studying anything related to it whatsoever. Do Cardiff offer conversion courses to allow them to chop and change or allow them to further their studies to help them get into that? Or is it quite they need to kind of choose up front and choose that discipline where they want to go to?
No, we do have what we would call conversion courses, essentially. I hate that word. Um,
Oh, yes, I know.
it's a snuggle. But essentially where you don't have to have a background in that area. So one of them being the MSc computing course, which would be probably the one that would give you programming type experience. That's not for a January start, but we've got September starts on that. We also have the opportunity to do that with a placement year at master's level as well. So that's a really popular option. And I think the other ones would be the AI related ones. So what that would be what we're calling the AI plus. It's essentially how you utilize AI in business, for example, if you've got a business background, but you're just concerned about how will I utilize it, how will I use it effectively. So we've got those programs. So the AI and management doesn't need any background in it. So it just depends on exactly what it is that they're hoping to achieve from doing that program, and whatever the outcome is, we will have opportunities for them, either the MSc computing, or I would recommend maybe one of the AI options.
And just to wrap things up as well, your students kind of alluded to it already about how great Cardiff is and Wales, I must point out as well. You know, that very much comes across as a country rather than just a city. Um, but I want to emphasize the fact that obviously there is very much a capital city vibe there,
Yes.
whilst not being as big as a London or an Edinburgh, somewhere like that. You've got everything going on. And it is very studenty. There are more than one university. We won't mention them just for trademark purposes, but there are obviously other universities, colleges. It's a very studenty town, and you will find something no matter what country you are from or what culture that will
Yeah.
fit what you are into, isn't it? So all
Yeah.
students, all backgrounds are welcome.
Absolutely. And actually, you raise a really good point there, in that we are a capital city, but we have so as a university based in a capital city, we have regional importance to the whole of Wales. And actually, it really benefits the students in the fact the links that we have with the Welsh government, that's, sort of next door to us here, the links that we have with other sort of, uh, uh, big kind of players in that way. Thinking of things like the BBC Wales and the fact that we've got School of Journalism, which is next door to the BBC Wales buildings here. And so what it actually enables our students to do is to have access to the corridors of power in a way that is more accessible than if you were studying at one of the London universities, for example, where you are just studying in one of many universities in that area that are gonna, that are fighting for the same opportunities. So I think there's a benefit to you in your studies, in your networking opportunities, as well as in the sort of fun, entertainment events that are happening regularly. Because if somebody's visiting the UK, they'll visit the three capitals, and again, it just gives our students more access to things than maybe they would if they were studying in London, and at a much lower price, I should say.
Yeah, I think a lovely way of putting it is just to wrap up quickly is we heard from a Cardiff student not too long ago and a few years ago, and they said that you go to London and it feels like there are a multitude of universities, and you're in a major city with establishments within it. Cardiff is a university town or city with the city around it. And I think when you do visit the university, you feel that and you see that because you are in effectively the campus, whether you're in Cates, whatever it's called there, and you are in the middle of town. You've got coffee shops, takeaway shops all around you in the middle of the city centre. So a really great opportunity for all students. Look, we're going to have to wrap things up. I could sit here and listen to that all day. I think it's been a great presentation. It's been great to catch up with all of the students. Thank you for all of your time. I would recommend anyone that's got any questions, please communicate, whether it be with the students, whether it be with Sean, whether it be with a great team in the background at Cardiff. Please, communication is key. And if you're not sure in anything, please just let them know. They'll be more than happy to help. Obviously, we've heard about January intakes quite a lot today, but there are still opportunities for September intakes as well. If you are desperately keen to get that, whether it be, I know Sean hates this word, conversion course, but whether or not you're keen for that, or whether or not you're looking for the next September, which Chevening scholars will be looking for over the next couple of months, please communicate, have a look, make sure it's right for you, and I'm sure it will be. But for now, thank you very much, Sean. Thank you for your time. We look forward to seeing you again later on in the year. If you have any questions, there is a link in the chat now that'll also be sent to you via email if you've registered. And if you are watching on demand, please email webinars@postgradsolutions.com for more information. For now, thank you very much. Hopefully the sun stays out in the UK. It's not all as wet and horrible and cold as Priya mentioned earlier. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks all. Bye.